The truck had no engine. The festival had no stage. The cryptocurrency had no blockchain. And the man who invented the whole game promised to double your money in 90 days, in 1920. Tonight, the 4 scams everyone wanted to believe. Not sophisticated financial engineering. Promises so good they should have been impossible, because they were. And yet thousands of ordinary people, and some of the biggest investors in the world, lined up to hand over their money. We count down from 4 to 1. Number 1 raised more than $4 billion on a coin that never existed, and the woman behind it has never been found. Number 4. The ad looked like a dream: supermodels on yachts, private jets, luxury villas on a private island in the Bahamas. Fire Festival sold itself as the party of the decade, with tickets up to $12,000. The biggest influencers on the planet posted a plain orange tile, and the internet did the rest. There was just one detail: almost none of it existed. No villas. No gourmet chefs. Barely a festival at all. When guests landed in April 2017, they found disaster relief tents, rain-soaked mattresses, and a sad cheese sandwich in a styrofoam box that became world-famous overnight. But here's the part people forget: the festival was the joke, the fraud was serious. Billy McFarland had shown investors fake documents inventing revenue that didn't exist, raising more than $26 million. He pleaded guilty, got 6 years in prison, and was ordered to pay back the $26 million. The influencers who sold the dream mostly moved on to the next post. A luxury festival with no festival. Keep that logic in mind, because the next company on our list took it one step further: a truck company whose truck didn't drive. Number 3. In 2018, Nikola released a video of its revolutionary hydrogen truck, the Nikola 1, cruising down a desert road. The future of transport, in motion. There was just one problem: the truck had no working engine. Nikola had towed it to the top of a long, gentle slope and let it roll down, with the camera angled so the road looked flat. Rolling downhill. That was the product. On promises like that one, founder Trevor Milton built a company that in June 2020 was briefly worth $34 billion, more than Ford. Ford had been selling vehicles for 117 years. Nikola had sold 0 trucks. Milton kept talking. Prototypes that fully functioned, while missing key parts, billions of dollars in orders that were actually reservations anyone could cancel for free. In September 2020, a short seller report laid the whole thing out, and prosecutors followed. Milton was convicted of fraud in 2022 and sentenced to 4 years, and in 2025 he received a presidential pardon. The truck rolled downhill, and somehow the consequences rolled away too. But Milton was improvising. The next man on the list was such a natural that, a century later, the scam still carries his name. Number 2. Boston, 1920. An Italian immigrant named Charles Ponzi discovered a curiosity: international postal reply coupons could, on paper, be bought cheap in Europe and redeemed for more in America. A legal loophole worth a few cents at a time. Ponzi turned those cents into a promise: 50% profit in 45 days. Double your money in 90. The lines outside his office stretched down the street, and at his peak he was taking in $250,000 a day, in $1920. Here's the detail that makes it perfect: the postal coupon trade was physically impossible at that scale. Covering the money he'd taken would have required more coupons than existed on Earth. Analysts worked that out at the time, published it, and people kept investing anyway. Because Ponzi wasn't really buying coupons. He was simply paying old investors with new investors' money and living like a king on the difference. When the Boston Post started asking questions that summer, the line outside his office turned into a stampede, in the other direction. The scheme collapsed within months. Ponzi went to prison, was later deported to Italy, and died poor in Brazil in 1949. His name became the permanent word for the trick. And a century later, at number 1, a woman ran his exact same scheme, dressed up as the future of money, and multiplied it by 100. Number 1. June 2016. A woman in a red ballgown walks onto the stage at Wembley Arena, fireworks behind her, thousands of fans screaming. Dr. Ruja Ignatova, Oxford-educated, a former McKinsey consultant, tells the crowd that OneCoin is the Bitcoin killer. The future of money. Investors in more than 170 countries handed over more than $4 billion. Families sold their homes. Entire villages pooled their savings. And here is the astonishing part, OneCoin had no blockchain. Not a bad one. Not an unfinished one. None at all. The cryptocurrency was numbers in an ordinary database, and its price was simply typed in by the company. It only ever went up, because nothing real ever moved. In October 2017, with investigators closing in, Ignatova boarded a flight from Sofia to Athens, and vanished. She has never been found. Her co-founder was sentenced to 20 years. Her own brother pleaded guilty. The FBI put her on its 10 most wanted list, one of the very few women ever to appear on it. The crypto queen took more than $4 billion with a coin that never existed. And tonight, she is still out there. Somewhere. A festival with no stage. A truck with no engine. A coin with no blockchain. And the original, profits with no investments. None of these frauds were sophisticated. Every single one would have collapsed the moment someone asked one basic question: can I see it? The stage. The engine. The blockchain. The trades. That's the uncomfortable truth about things that sound too good to be true. They don't fool our intelligence. They fool our hope. Ponzi's trick needed no computers in 1920, and it needed none in 2017. It only ever needs one ingredient: people who want the story to be true so badly, they'll pay not to check. Be honest in the comments, which one of these would have gotten you? And where do you think the crypto queen is hiding today? New files are opening soon, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. This is Mega Frauds of History.